Hi class, I haven't forgotten about you. I've been super busy with my other school. We're all learning how to teach remotely, which has been quite a challenge. I'm not really technologically savvy, but I'm learning. And then I had to figure out how to get videos to you guys. And I had different ideas. It didn't work, but now I'm gonna do a YouTube video and then share a link with you. So hopefully this works. First, I want to talk about routines. That's one thing we didn't get to talk about on our last night together. So what I would have done, if you were with me, was we would have all stood up and I had all these bean bags here. And then I would have put us in a circle and I said, okay, keep these up in the air. And I would have just thrown bean bags left and right. And you would have caught them and thrown them. And usually they go flying all over the place and we can't keep them up. And everybody starts laughing and it's just chaos. And then I say, stop. And then I would ask you, who has some ideas to make this less chaotic? So we start generating ideas, and usually we start saying things like, how about if we get a pattern that we can repeat? And how about if we call out somebody's name or get eye contact? And we just take in the information and then we start creating a routine around it, and we practice. We practice with just one bean bag and see if we can get the hang of that. And then eventually I add in the more and we have some order. And then we stop and I'll say, and how was that? And anything we need to improve and any more ideas. And then we do it again. And then the next time when we do it, I pull out, I actually have I don't have it right now, but I have a metal wrench that I throw instead of a bean bag. And usually people are kind of shocked by this metal wrench coming at them, but we continue on and it makes its way around through throwing through the people, and the bean bags keep going on their pattern, and we get through it. And at the end I say, okay, what did the wrench represent? And usually people understand. It's the wrench that gets thrown in your morning when you're all ready to go and you can't find your keys, or your child had a big poop accident and there's poop everywhere, or your car won't start, or unexpected explosion in your oven or something, that it's just a wrench gets thrown in. But then we think about what would have happened if I put that wrench in the beginning when we were throwing bean bags everywhere left and right. That would have been even a bigger fiasco. But because we had some structure and some order, and when unexpected things happened, we could just deal with it, pick it up, and keep going. So then begs the discussions, why are routines important for kids? So kids really do thrive on routines. And some parents are more prone to creating routines. They're just structured people, and some parents are much more looser. But it's important to have some kind of structure and routine to your day. And society often creates routines for us because we have to be to work on time or school or things like that. But when change comes along, it can really be disruptive. And for children to have something not change is very helpful. So say, we have the same set of pajamas, we have the same set of food that we choose from, we have the same set of friends, we have the same, class that we go to, whether it's school or gymnastics or whatever. And then something changes, we move, there's a divorce, somebody dies, a pet dies, or a pandemic comes along, and suddenly things are out of order and out of structure. And so it's nice to be able to have something that doesn't change. So to keep up the routine in the midst of big change can be like a trusted friend that a child can rely on. Well, I can't go out to school now because it's summertime. But at least I get up in the morning, I still have my breakfast around the same time, I still have nap at the same time. I still go to parks on this day and that day. I still have my books read to me before bed. And, all these little bitty things throughout the whole day that stay the same can give a sense of continuity and a sense of predictability. A child thrives with predictability, and that's what routines can provide. You can take any good thing and make it not a good thing. So again, it's always the middle ground, never too far this way, too far that way. So too much structure is not so good, too little structure is not so good. So finding the just right. So sometimes parents take this a little too far and they create big routine charts, and it's very specific, and they're the ones that have created them, and It's very kind of micromanaging. That doesn't work. And then just sort of like, I don't know, we'll just figure it out, and let's just do this, and I don't know, maybe not do that. And then things don't get done, and things don't really happen, and the child learns that you're not reliable, or life is not reliable. So that can be hard. So in this moment, this very moment that we're in, another component I want to address is that it's, we're all stuck at home with all of our structure stripped from us, from our work and our school, and it's even more of an important time to try to find some kind of structure to your day. With us sheltering in place and being stuck at home so long, you may think to yourself, I guess I don't need to get dressed. I don't necessarily need to create the structure. We're just stuck at home anyway. I think it's important to find some kind of structure. It can actually lead to low energy, even a little depression as you're finding yourself stuck inside so much. So for your adults in particular, I really encourage you to get up around the same time, to get dressed. Certainly you could spend all day in your pajamas and no one would know. And I found that I have done that a few times, and I always feel crappy when I do that. And I feel so much better when okay, getting ready for the day, I get dressed, I brush my hair, even though no one's gonna see me. It doesn't really matter. But it's important for your well-being, I believe. For your kids, I don't know. You can decide whether you want to have them get dressed or not. They could be in their pajamas all day, and they probably don't really care. And if you're not going to go anywhere, it's just not worth the battle. If it is a battle. If it's not a battle, then have them get dressed so they get ready for the day too. So create some kind of sense of, in the morning time, we're going to, have our breakfast, and then maybe we do some activity, or maybe that's our outside time. We find, we go on a walk, or we go play in our yard, or we, go to a hike, or something that you consistently do in the morning. This is our time to, and then comes lunch and whatever happens, at nap maybe, and then the afternoon comes. And so what do we plan for the afternoon? And maybe that's when you go outside and do your outside time, or maybe that's when you stay in and do some kind of Lego building, or paper plane building, or whatever it is, inside playtime, or time to do some house cleaning. At 3 o'clock we always pause and we clean up the mess that we have, and then continue on into the night, or whatever structure works for you. And if you're more structured, it'll be a little bit more structured, and if you're a little looser, it'll be a little looser, but just don't swing too far on either end of that. Let's see, what else do I want to say? So some specifics about routines. There's so many routines in a child's day. So such as, there's the morning routine. What time do we get up? And what order of things happen? Do we get dressed right away? Do we eat breakfast right away? Do we play for a little bit and then we move into whatever it is? There's the school day routines, which is not happening right now, but we will get back to that. There's the days where it's the weekend routine. And so those might be different. We have routines around nap time, and it might be that we have lunch, we go to the bathroom, we wash our hands and face, we read a book, I rub your back, I sing a little song, and I walk out of the room, or something like that. There's very specific things that you might do, and consistently do those again and again. Then there's the dinner time routine that, maybe you help me set the table, maybe you help me make dinner a little bit, and then we all sit at the table, and maybe it's a long time your child sits at the table, or maybe it's just a short time, but we at least all sit at the table. And maybe there's a routine around, we say something we're grateful for, or we say that we're thankful for the food. And then there's the nighttime routine. What comes first, whether we, take a bath, pajamas, teeth brush, book, song, wrestling time, sometimes we do pillow fights or things. It just all depends on what your family does. Maybe there's a family game night, and then we go to the bath, to the et cetera, et cetera. Weekend routine, vacation routine. There's lots of routines. So when you think about creating a routine, just like we did with the bean bags, you say, okay, we've got certain things we need to do here, and let's figure it out together. So you would actually invite your child into the process. Your job is to help them learn how to manage their own time and manage their lives, not to do it for them, so that then they don't have any sense of power over their own lives. But they need some structure to figure out how to do that. So you might, one simple way is, let's sit and write down all the things that need to happen before we go to bed. Let's see, there's the teeth brushing, there's the pajamas, there's the bath, there's the books, there's the whatever it all is. And so you can write those down on slips of paper, and then they can be moved around as you like. Let's see, what would go good first? What do you want to have first? So ask their opinion, and help them shuffle them around. You can have some veto power too. It's collaborative. They're not completely in charge. So they may say, and then I get to watch TV for an hour. And so you could say, no, actually we have screen time, another routine for that. And so you could say, no. They may say that they want to read a book first and then brush their teeth. And maybe you give it a try. Maybe you create a chart with them. It might be you take pictures of them doing the routine. It might be you draw pictures of it with pen and paper. It may be you get clip art, however they want to do it with you. And then you try it and you notice, gosh, it's really hard to brush your teeth after you read your book. That just every night is a struggle. So we need to rethink this routine. Just like with the bean bags, I say, how are we doing? How was that? Let's pause. Let's see if there's any improvements. And as an adult leading the way, the leader in the household, you can comment on things this isn't working for me. And if it's not working for me, it's not working for the household. Or they may say, I really hate it when you nag me and keep telling me over and over. So they're letting you know that doesn't work for me. Okay, I will work on not nagging you, and instead I will just point to the chart. And the chart can then be the boss. So it's not you against your child. It's you and your child together looking at the chart. What's next? And they can have fun checking it off or telling you where they're at in the process. I know for me in the morning routine, once I started getting on board with this, and I had my chart of things I needed to get done, and I would just kind of call out to my son, like, I'm getting dressed. I'm on that part of my chart. What are you doing? And then he would, so it's almost like we were equal people, and he loved it. And he would just be like, oh, I'm doing this now, so he was telling me where he was out. I never nagged him. Well, maybe never, I don't know, I suppose I did some, but it was much less likely to happen when we had this chart set up. So yes, you can over routine your kids. You don't need a gazillion charts. Maybe just pick one or two. It might be before school, or morning time and evening time routine or something. Like anything, you have to be willing to be somewhat flexible. Remember, a clay parent has some flexibility. So if you created the structure of the routines, and then you need to be aware of circumstances, whether the child had a bad day, whether they're starting to get sick, whether they're overtired. And so you might need to make exceptions when appropriate and skip a few things on the routine chart and start again the next day, so that we're not, so rigidly stuck to the chart. It's okay to be flexible when it's appropriate. Let's see, what else do I want to say about routines? I think I've made all my points that I wrote down here. I am going to attach a tip sheet about routines that on this email. I'm really hoping this all works, that I can get a link to this talk. And there is also a video by Jane Nelson and her daughter, Mary, and talking about their way of creating routines is Mary and how she created a routine with her son. I think that's it. You're welcome to email me back with any questions in regards to this. So I'm going to leave it at that, give it as my routine talk, and I will be doing a family meeting talk next. Bye.